If you want success reaching your goals, then you need to hold yourself accountable to your daily habits. You need to make a list of the habits needed in your life. You need to pick a time to do it, either a specific time or a rough estimation, give or take. You need to write it down in a place you will have easy access to all throughout the day. So this could be in your planner, a planner app, a notebook you keep out, the notes or reminder app on your phone, whatever works best for you. You need to refer back to that list literally all day long. Assuming that you have more than just one task on your list, you should never go more than a few hours without consulting it to stay on track. I go back and forth between just having it on paper or having it on my phone, depending on what is serving me best at that point of my life, but I always have it accessible to me. Like I said in yesterday's video, it was you who looked at your life and felt unsatisfied. You made honest assessments of what is bothering you and what can be done to change it and get the future you want. Basically, none of those tasks ended up on your to-do list by accident. You put them there for a reason, because you crave the results they bring. The only way to get those results is to have discipline and consistency. Be disciplined enough to do it even when you don't feel like it, and be consistent enough to do it every day like you said you would. But what about when you really do want to get your tasks done, but TikTok or YouTube was too enticing? What about when you started with good intentions, but you got lazy by midday? You let your brain talk you out of doing something, or maybe you just weren't properly prepared for it and you literally couldn't do what needed to be done because of ill planning. It happens. It will happen to you more than once. The problem is that there's no one to hold you accountable. Your parents aren't going to yell at you for not practicing your splits like you said you would. You won't get an F on your imaginary report card for not doing the dishes after dinner like you said you'd start doing. Most of the time, you don't even tell others about the habits you're trying to start building, so how could you feel any accountability or shame? The only person who can hold you accountable is you. What you need is to start journaling. There's only two parts of it. The first part is a simple question. Did you complete today's task? It's a yes or no question. If you did them all, then write yes, and you're done for the day. If the answer is no, then you move on to part two. Which tasks did you not complete? Why not? And what can you do to be prepared for tomorrow? This is called accountability. You have to write down each and everything on your list that you didn't do, why you didn't do it, and actually come up with a plan to avoid those roadblocks from happening again the next day. Here's an old example from my journal when I missed reading my book and I missed Bible study in the same day. I wrote in my notes app, but now I handwrite it in a notebook. It says, reading. Wasn't thinking about it much, didn't feel like it, and chose to watch YouTube today instead. Tomorrow I will limit YouTube consumption and enforce reading. Bible study. Genuinely was going to do it, even had the materials out and ready to go, but I didn't quite have enough time in the morning. I thought I did, but things got in the way. Had the chance to do it later, but I watched YouTube instead. Tomorrow I will stick with my morning routine. As you can see, instead of simply saying, oh, I failed today, but I'll do better tomorrow, I had to think about where each thing went wrong and understand why I failed myself by not making the right choices. I also found a common thread and knew what needed to be eliminated to avoid the same fate happening day after day. For the Bible study one, I said tomorrow I will stick to my morning routine because that's when I was supposed to do it, but I went off routine and ended up not having the time I set for it, thus causing me to miss it and not take the chance to remedy it later. These questions, did you do it? Why not? What can you do for tomorrow? Are what accountability is all about. Reflecting on your actions, being honest with yourself, and making a genuine effort to do better. As I always say, if you know better, do better. Having a journal with these prompts, which requires you to actually keep your word when you say you will do something, makes such a huge difference I can't even overstate it. You are what's holding yourself back. It's time to fess up and make a change. I write in my journal every single day because I take my goals seriously. No matter how big or how small, whether it's studying 4 hours or just using a certain skincare product, I take it seriously because I want the results. If you aren't just kidding around when you set daily habits you want, then you need to start journaling for accountability too. If you have multiple days in a row where the same thing keeps going incomplete over and over again, then it's time to look at the schedule you set and maybe alter it. Move that task to the evening instead of the morning. Set it for every other day instead of every single day. Treat your schedule like a Rubik's Cube and move it around until it works best for you, because remember, you have dominion over what you write down, not the other way around. When you come up with a schedule that allows you to have time for your task, it's just discipline and consistency from that point on. Of course, there are reasonable skip days where I wouldn't call it failing, it's just a skip for that day. If you set a goal to, I don't know, drink green tea every evening, but one day you were out celebrating your friend's birthday, so naturally you didn't carry a teapot in your purse, that's fine. That's not a fail. It's a reasonable skip. So write that down and fret not, but make sure you get back on track tomorrow. The difference between you looking back 6 months from now and having stellar progress versus being at the same spot starting over yet again is whether or not you hold yourself accountable to the promises you make yourself.